so to speak. I mean, in actuality, used to ride every now and then and quite enjoyed it. However, it was suggested by my daughter and my husband that possibly I should first ride in an arena with some supervision. The first time I used to ride was before I was pregnant with my now 35-year-old son. And anyway, I'm trotting along on this pony, only 14 hands, not a big horse. And anyway, he suddenly spooked, thought he saw a snake, which was actually a stick, and he leapt in the air, throwing me over his shoulder, front shoulder, and landing, well, really a face plant, I guess you'd call it these days, a face plant, and scraped all the front of my hair off here, where this regrowth is now. And so I had this sort of bald patch on the front and ended up having to have physio, where they put this harness sort of thing on my head and hung me from the roof. And there I would sit with weights down the back to sort of straighten my neck out. Occasionally I do get headaches in my neck, and I guess that's probably why. But anyway, yes, and I thought maybe a good idea that I do ride for the first time under supervision, because the arm muscles aren't very strong anymore, and if a horse decides to take off, I don't know if I've got it in me to actually stop him from taking off. So that's the thought there. Anyway, we're at the markets in Kin the other day, and the 200 to 300 motorbike riders were turning up. Not bikies, they were of all ages, husbands and wives, etc. And they were just going to the hotel for a run from, I don't know, from Brisbane, or, they'd come a fair distance, as they like to on a Sunday. And we were looking at some of the beautiful bikes, old Harleys, and there was even a couple of Indians there. If you know your bikes, you'll know they're not very often seen, especially the old one that was there. Anyway, and my husband says to me, maybe I should get a motorbike and we can go for a ride. And I went, do you know how to ride a motorbike? And he said, well, no. And I said, well, I'm certainly not getting on the back of a bike with someone who doesn't know how to ride. And he said, well, do you know how to ride a motorbike? And I said, well, no, not really. I have ridden one a couple of times. I used to ride one without gears, little kids' mini bike. And I did ride a larger trail bike. However, it didn't go terribly well. I always forget what gear I'm in, and I was quite young and the brain was good then. So anyway, I take off from my sister's unit down the road. There wasn't much traffic around, luckily, down the road, and then I forget what gear I am when I'm turning around. So, I don't know, I was probably in fourth or something, because you go 2 up and 3 down or something like that. So you can't even remember what they are. So anyway, so I forget what gear I'm in, try to turn around and drop the bike in the middle of the road. And it was a fairly large bike, and I was a fairly small woman. And I had to ask a passerby, a young man who was walking down the street, could he please help me pick the motorbike up? So he came over and helped me pick it up, and then he goes, could you give me a lift down the road? And I said, are you suicidal or just crazy? You've seen me just drop the thing in the middle of the road, and now you want to get on the back with me, and I'm going to take you for a ride. I said, no, definitely not. I said, I'd be lucky if I get myself back in one piece, let alone 2 of us. Anyway, so I got back on, put it into gear, and away I went. Did fine, turned into the driveway, and then accidentally, instead of holding the clutch in to change down gears, if I could remember where I was, I pulled the handbrake on rather rapidly, resulting in a wheel stand over which I had no control. My hands remained on the handbrake, my feet came off the foot pegs, and proceeded to use my big toes as brakes along the cement driveway. Scraped off considerable amount of big toe. No, it didn't reduce it to normal proportions, but it was enough to sort of scare the shit out of me, really. And so if I ride it by motorbike again, I'll be very, very careful and slowly learn where the gears are before I attempt anything on roadsides, and I certainly won't be doubling anyone for a long time. So there you go. I won't be on the back of my husband's motorbike, and my husband will not be on the back of my motorbike in the very near future, or possibly the distant future. And I do apologise as I look at this as I'm filming it, that my mouth is actually a few seconds behind my words. So maybe this will make it funnier, or maybe just more annoying. Anyway, see you next Wednesday. Looking for the button again, of course.